A free-for-all PvP zone, a new raid, a Gearscore increase and matchmaking. Here's what's new for New World Aeternum. Cutlass Keys has been upleveled and all of the POIs are now level 66 areas. Plus there is a new area, the Cursed Mists, which is a free-for-all PvP zone. In all chests in Cutlass Keys you can now find Mystic Doubloons, which is a new currency you can trade in for various gear or material boxes at the Well of Fortune. All of the materials and the doubloons you find inside the PvP zone will have the curse status, and you will drop half of them upon death. There will be quests, events and treasure map hunts happening inside the zone. There are also some measures to prevent teaming, but we'll have to see how good they'll work. There is a new 10-man raid with 3 bosses, and the maximum gear score has been increased to 725. Now, out of all of your old gear, only the artifacts can be upgraded to 725. You will find some new named items in the new raid, the Sandworm raid, and at the Well of Fortune, and those can be upgraded to 725. In terms of crafting, you have the Gorgon items, and you have the Bizcraft, the Gorgonite items, which allow you to choose all 3 perks. Then, additionally, you can get 1 weekly chest for doing OPR or Arena. And these are all of the ways to 725 gear score. Soul trials are now repeatable. They have been upscaled and you can do 3 of them per day. There are 8 new artifacts. And there is matchmaking in OPR and Arena. Now, the matchmaking will try to balance out healers across the teams. And there's also an MMR system which is used to distribute players based on their rating. This also factors in if you queue solo or as a premade. OPR and Arena will also scale you up to gear score 700 now. The character creator has a bunch of new things to choose from, and when you start a new character you can select an archetype which will start you off with a weapon set of your choosing as well as a little trade skill boost. The MSQ has been refined even further. You have a dynamic camera when talking to NPCs, your own character shows up in cutscenes way more often, and there are a couple of new cinematics. Reekwater has a new layout and is not as annoying to navigate as before. And there are some minor changes to other cities as well. For example, in Weaver's Fen, this wall got closed off, or in Brimstone Sands, these brick walls are new. Throughout the world, there are also a couple of new NPCs standing or sitting around. You can finally swim. There is a new mount type, the bear. Ammo has been removed. You no longer need to repair your gear. Gem crafting has been simplified and is now part of jewel crafting instead of stone cutting. And there is a new crafting station for runeglass gems. Chests that you need to open before you can loot them now show up on the map. There is a new jumping animation, which makes climbing a bit easier but doesn't flow as well in combat. There is a new option to smart cast, with which you can directly place AoEs by just pressing the ability once. You can remap the buttons on the controller now, and transmog tokens no longer drop once per week from elite chests, but you either have to buy them or get them out of the season pass. Talking about the season pass. The free track has 2 artifacts, 3 transmog tokens and some marks of fortune, and the premium track offers this skin. Beautiful. There's a higher potential server capacity. On the open beta, 4,000 players seem to be the new standard, but they also tested it all the way up to 4.5k. The game now supports DirectX 12 and you can expect some performance improvements. There are some new perks. Healing generates less aggro. You can stagger mobs with heavy attacks in PvE again. The 300 con attribute bonus has changed and grid only applies to heavy attacks again. The lock-on feature is activated in PvP now, but the devs said they will still adjust it, so we'll have to see what that means. And if you get staggered while your stamina bar is not full, you will get grey barred and you cannot dodge until your stamina is full again. Now, in terms of balancing, there are some changes to artifacts and skills, and if you're interested in that, I'll recommend you check out the patch notes. Usually they release the day before launch, and I'll also link them down below once they are available. Cheers!